what's going on here is this idea of helping the community and being seen as part of the community. If we take the ego out of everything that we're looking at and the idea of being more altruistic, we're kind of being seen as helping those causes and those people that are within our community and those people that are around us. Because we're believing in what we're doing, and we're believing in what we're doing with our businesses is there to help the people that we work with. What can we do for you? And that should always be the question. There's a really good book by a chap called Simon Sinek, and he's written a book called Start With Why. I really recommend it, it's really good. His whole theory is based on the idea of it's not what you do, it's why you do it that's important. There's a really good example here from, if we go back 113 years at the turn of the 20th century, the big thing was man to fly. It was the equivalent of our dot-com boom. And we have on one side Oliver and Wilbur Wright. And on the other side, there's another chap called Samuel Pierpont Langley. We've all heard of the Wright brothers, but no one's ever heard of Samuel Pierpont Langley. But they were both looking at the same areas. Both were looking at the challenge to how we can fly and how man can use a machine that can fly. And Samuel Pierpont Langley, he was driven via his determination to succeed. His determination was to make him money, rich and revered amongst his peers. He was an astronomer, he was a professor, he had the right people behind him as well. Alexander Graham Bell was one of his cohorts. He was also, by the War Department, was given a subsidy of $50,000 to look at the idea of flight. And the New York Times followed him everywhere. He had the PR right, he had the right people on board, he had the networks. His goal was for what he could get. He wanted to find a way for people to fly, but what he wanted was to be rich and successful and to be looked upon. 100 or so miles away in Ohio, Oliver and Wilbur Wright were, on their own proceeds from their own bike shop, were looking at this idea to create a mechanism for people to fly. And all this was driven by was their desire to get people involved that they believed that they could change the world forever. And by changing the world forever, it was going to make a difference to everybody's lives. At the time, people were used to train and their travel networks via the roads, but this was going to change the world. So they got the people on their side to believe in what they were looking to achieve. And on the 17th of December, 1903, there was no New York Times to follow them. There was no press. And they flew 120 feet. And only did it for under a minute, but they did it. And they didn't brag about it, they didn't go around, but people found out. The day after, Samuel Pierpont Langley finished. He packed everything in because he was more focused on the what. He was more focused on what he was going to get out of it, as opposed to the Wright brothers and their belief and their passion and their desire to create this mechanism that was going to change, that was the benefit for everybody else, as opposed to themselves. The modern thing now is using our websites and our blogs. And rather than a blog that's there to kind of be used as just a straight sales promotion tool, you're giving content to share and for people to kind of interact with, and you're inviting it for people to use and to kind of do stuff with it and to do it for themselves. And surely that sounds miles better than just using the good old sales techniques of just getting in there with a hard sell.